seems like every day I'm reminded that there's something missing in the world. There's something that seems to be fading away, whether we realize it or not. What I'm talking about, what I'm referencing to is kindness. Somehow over the years, kindness has been slipping away. You experience it and you see it less and less often. Every now and then you'll see somebody being nice, but the way I see being nice is kind of like motivation. Being nice is more of a non-genuine motion. Being nice comes and goes. I remember when you're a little kid, your mom used to say, "Be nice," right? I used to hear that all the time. Be nice, be nice. Because nice is something that you can turn on and turn off. Kindness is true, and it's from the heart. It's not something you can fake. When you do something that's kind for somebody, you can feel it. We don't ever know what another person's going through in their lives. We don't know that if that person that cut us off, and we don't know if that person that just cut us off on the freeway, if they're in a rush because they have a loved one in the hospital on their deathbed. We don't know the amount of stress that person is under. We don't know what that person's going through mentally. We have no idea. We're so focused on ourselves that's all we pay attention to is our own fleeting emotions. That's all we think about. Try to remember the last time you were cut off in traffic or sitting in traffic, or where somebody just did something that just irritated the hell out of you. When was the last time you thought to yourself, I wonder if that person's having a miserable day? In traffic, you don't get to see facial expressions. You don't have any idea what's going on. You just assume the worst because you're so caught up with yourself and your instinctual reaction that you've programmed into your head. Hello. Remember, reacting to somebody, reactions are trained responses to certain scenarios. So when you get upset when somebody cuts you off, whether you're in line at the convenience store or restaurant or in traffic, whatever it be, when you get upset about that, that's a trained response. That's a reaction. Some reactions can be instinctual, but the ones we encounter the most, those are programmed. And we put those instincts back into our own heads. We're the ones that let the feeling and the emotion of being kind gape us. So being nice it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because it is a necessity. It is necessary for us, but people often use it, being nice and being kind, interchangeably, and they're not even close to being the same thing. So what I was saying earlier about being nice is the same thing, or being similar to motivation. Motivation can be turned into discipline, but motivation is also fleeing emotion. It's a fleeing thought. It's not something that's going to last. But if you use it as momentum, then you'll develop the discipline. Being nice can be the exact same thing. If you be nice to people, that can be turned into kindness. Remember, kindness is genuine. Kindness is from the heart. Kindness is something that we feel that somebody else needs inside of our heart. We know what it's like. Do you remember the last time you did something kind for somebody? And I mean like legitimately kind, something you saw that maybe that person was in a state of distress or something, and you were able to do something just small, but it was truly heartfelt. Not long ago I had to go to Brunswick, Georgia for training for work, and my plane landed in Jacksonville like around midnight. So I didn't end up getting my hotel room till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, middle of the night. I got to my hotel, and the only thing that was open was a Waffle House right across the street. So I went into the Waffle House to get some breakfast or some dinner, whatever you want to call it, before I went to bed. And there was only one person working. And for you people in your 40s, you might remember a TV show called Mel's Diner. Hello. For people that are about my age, you'll remember a TV show called Mel's Diner. There was a waitress there, her name was Flo. And that's exactly what this lady reminded me of. She reminded me of Flo. I could tell that her life was rough. Not only because the fact that she was working night shift at Waffle House by herself. She's a cook, the server, and the hostess alone. But you could tell life had been hard on her altogether. I don't remember what I ordered to eat, but I ordered it. My bill was only like $10. It wasn't much because I was going to bed. But I left her like a $40 tip because I knew, I could feel that this poor lady, probably her mid-50s, maybe even early 60s, was just working her tail off to make ends meet. So I wanted to do something kind. So I tipped her $40. And I knew it was going to surprise her. I knew that she would appreciate it. But how much it surprised her and how much she appreciated it blew my mind. She had to hold back tears because she couldn't believe that somebody would do that for her. Almost as if she felt like she didn't deserve the tip that I gave her. It was almost like that was the first time that she'd ever experienced something like that, which in my opinion is that's terrible. It's terrible. I get it. Not everybody has the means or opportunity to tip their waitress 4 times what their bill was. But what's $40? Hello. So what's $40? If you can absolutely make somebody's day the way that I was able to with that $40, you know, her reaction was more like I changed her life off of $40. If you ever get the opportunity to volunteer your time or your money, you need to do it. I think we all need to do it. We owe it to humanity out of the kindness of our hearts. You know, kindness, it's not only giving. Sometimes kindness can actually manifest itself in ways like hard love, right? Tough love. Sometimes kindness can manifest in ways of like tough love. If you care about somebody who's constantly harming themselves, harming their life, destroying their lives, destroying themselves, sometimes the kind thing to do is to be tough and get them to hopefully open their eyes and awaken to the errors of their ways. If you have a family member that's an alcoholic or a drug addict or something along those lines, hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. Is enabling somebody that's in that mindset is not kind. That's not nice. Tough love in that aspect. It's tough on both of you, but that's what you should be doing at the time. It's easy for us to forget that if we're unkind to somebody, if we do something mean or something nasty, it's easy for us to forget that that person is also somebody's loved one. Even if they are the only person left in their family tree, that has to be a terrible feeling, especially if they don't have any wife, they don't have any children, no aunts, uncles, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, nephews. That's a rough way to be. That person also deserves feeling kindness as well. We all do. We all deserve it. It's so easy to lose our temper. I'm guilty of it. Like I said yesterday, I'm not standing in front of you as a perfect man. I'm standing in front of you as a progressing man. The things that I point out, sometimes they're things that I'm working on as well. Things that I need to reteach myself. I need to relearn. Sometimes I do need to relearn how to be kind. Everybody's learning how to. People nowadays it seems like they're more learning how to be selfish and how to do self-centered type things. And we're forgetting how to be kind. We're forgetting that we're all human. We're getting tied to our phones. We're getting cheap hits of dopamine. We're not going out we're not going out and experiencing Mother Nature. We're not experiencing our natural habitats. We're going against our monkey brain. Some might like to call it our lizard brain, which just means our instincts. We're going against our instincts. If you haven't noticed, the world is depressed. If you break up that word depressed, you get deep rest. So in that moment, when you are feeling depressed, have you ever thought about that deep rest that your body might be yearning for? Maybe your mind needs that deep rest because you're depressed. It all takes work. It all takes a lot of hard work, every bit of it. Anything that's worthwhile in life takes a lot of hard work. That includes mental clarity. It takes strength. It takes getting out of your own way. It takes having proper nutrition. It takes giving, meditation. It takes a lot. It's not just working on yourself. It's not just giving it to somebody. It's not just trying to be kind. It has nothing to do with it. It's everything. It's an accumulation of good decisions that we make for ourselves. It's an accumulation of remembering every day that we're not alone. There are others in the world. There are other people, but you also have to believe. You know, the most important person we can't forget to be kind to is ourselves. When we're having an internal dialogue, it's not always easy to be kind to ourselves. You deserve the same amount of kindness as you put out to the world, as you put out to the universe. You should treat yourself the way that you would treat somebody else, like a loved one, a best friend. You can never forget to love yourself. It's important to love yourself. It's important for you to love yourself and put it out to the universe that you do in fact love yourself. You need to put out to the universe those outlandish goals that you have in mind. Put out to the universe those outlandish dreams that you don't think are attainable. You need to be generous with yourself and to yourself. You see it all the time, people that are having a weight loss journey, people that are lonely, They'll do good with their nutrition for a little while. They'll go to the gym for a week or 2 or 3, maybe even a month. They'll start to see some gains, and then they'll fall off the wagon and they'll start eating junk food again. And then before you know it, that one dessert or that one snack turns into an entire day worth of binge eating. And then that day turns into an entire week. Then that week turns into a month. Then they're right back where they started. Sometimes even worse off than they were before they started. Bigger, weaker, slower. You have to learn to forgive yourself for mistakes, but at the same time you have to own those mistakes and you have to realize your part in it. Just be kind to yourself while you internalize those mistakes that you've made, and when you fall off that wagon, take it in, feel it, and then get back on the wagon. Have you ever heard of what's called the Bystandard Effect? It's a social psychological theory that people are going to be less likely to help somebody who's getting their ass kicked because nobody else is helping. So you see these videos on like subways in New York and stuff where somebody's getting their ass beat and people just kind of try to hide their faces and ignore what's going on. But all it takes is one person that has the balls to step in and do the right thing to help the person who's getting their ass beat. Sometimes half to death, sometimes to death. It's all it takes is one person. And then other bystanders will jump in and follow like sheep. In that situation, I guess it's just like anything else in life, right? You have to do what's hard, even though you don't feel like doing it. You're scared. You're afraid of the outcome. You're afraid the guy's gonna turn around and start kicking your ass and nobody's gonna help you. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Those same people that won't jump in to help somebody, that won't help save somebody's life, are the same people that think being nice and kind is the same thing, where they think that because they did a nice deed, that makes them kind or a good person. Oftentimes a kind person is also a dangerous person, except the dangerous side of that person is under control. So you see the difference between being kind and being nice? You understand there's a huge difference between the two. They're not interchangeable, but one can be used in the same manner as momentum, like I was saying earlier. You know, going and giving that homeless guy some food, tipping that hardworking waitress, extra, going to the food bank to serve food, dropping food off at the food bank, donating food, donating time, and doing it without validation, doing it without any sort of expectation, doing it because it makes you feel good. You can feel it in your heart, and you know at the right time, when you feel it, you need to do it. When you feel like doing something kind, do it. You don't have to give money. You don't have to help monetarily. Not everybody can afford to do that. You know, I guess just about all of us could spare a buck or two. But oftentimes when it comes to like giving strangers money, all you're doing is enabling an alcohol or drug habit, and I don't agree with that. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I've seen alcohol and drugs ruin more lives than I can count. It's funny, you know, when I was a kid, I grew up in a tough neighborhood, several tough neighborhoods. I was bullied just about nonstop for the younger parts of my life. It was up until I got to, say, junior high or middle school, whatever you want to call it. Arizona, we called it junior high. I moved so much that I never was able to make friends. You know, I remember going to 4 schools in 1 year. It's terrible. It's a terrible way to live for a child. You're always by yourself, and there's always going to be some asshole who's got to pick a fight with you. He's got to try to instill his dominance. So I ended up hanging out with the wrong crowd as a kid. I ended up doing stupid shit as a kid, just like most of us, right? I'm not alone here. I definitely wasn't a Boy Scout, but I always knew the difference between right and wrong. My parents had always instilled accountability for your actions. You know, my parents, they weren't really there much. They were always working, trying to provide, make sure that we had a roof over our head, food to eat. They worked a lot. When I was a kid, I didn't realize how much effort went into just surviving every single day. And as a kid, you're selfish because you don't realize that. You think money you think money grows on trees. You don't understand why mom and dad are always at work. They don't ever pay attention to you. You don't understand why you have to move again. You don't understand why you can't have friends. But it's funny because the tough crowd and the wrong kids that I would hang out with, it happened every time. Every school I went to, I was always hanging out with the wrong crowd. And I think it's because I always had something in common with them. I had a broken household. Hello. Good, good. So we had something in common. So we were able to get along. None of us had parents at home. Our parents were always working. They didn't have time to worry about their kids. Their homes were broken. Half of them never even had food. But I'm not kidding when I say half of the people that I hung out with as a kid, they're either in prison or dead. Probably 3/4 of the people that I've known across my life, over the course of my life. So when I say anybody can make it out, I mean it, and I'm living proof of it. Your past doesn't define you. Your past is lessons, and what you do with those lessons is up to you. That's what defines your future, not you. But I often say don't regret. Don't have any regrets. I don't regret anything I ever did, and there's a reason for it. I wouldn't be where I am today without it. If I regretted any decision that I made, I would not be where I am. I just learned from those lessons. Tough love was the lessons that I learned from. I was an ignorant kid. I was a fool of a person, but I was always kind. I don't remember a time in my life where I wasn't kind. There was a period in my life, and as a teenager, where I may not have been the best person, the best kid for my parents, but I always had kindness in my heart. I just wasn't able to show it. I had to put on a persona because the kids that I hung out with, I thought that's how I had to fit in, just be an asshole, even though I knew it was wrong. I've forgiven myself though. I've admitted my wrongs. I've admitted my wrongs to myself and to God and to the universe, and I'm not ever going to do them again. That's what progress in life is all about, right? If you think about it like this, what's done is done. You can't go back and change the past. With that in mind, since you can't go back and change the past, what is there to regret? If you screwed up, if you did something that you shouldn't have done and you know you never should have done it, even though you say you knew you shouldn't be doing it when you did it, those are the things that are going to define you in your future. Those are the things that are going to turn you into the person that you are today. That's how we grow. Understand your sins, understand your wrongs, just do the right thing, fix your life. Don't ever do those things again. Learn from them. Learn from the mistakes that you've made. So with that said, go out there and do something good for somebody. Do something kind for another person. Do something that's going to make you feel good inside your heart. And remember, we never know what somebody else is going through. We never know if somebody is on the verge of like hurting themselves. We never know if somebody's on the verge of committing suicide. We never know if somebody's family or loved one is in the hospital. We don't know. We never know what somebody else is going through, or what a perfect stranger is going through. And just remember to be kind. We don't have enough of that anymore. There isn't enough kindness going around in the world anymore. We need to quit being so selfish. We need to quit focusing so much on our desires, and we need to start giving. Humanity needs to be giving to each other. Remember, we're social creatures. We owe it to ourselves. There's no better way to show gratitude for the life that you live than giving back to others. There's no better way to make yourself feel better than giving to others and not seeking validation for it. And we can all afford to give. We can all afford to be kind. And we all need to feel, and we all need to be kind. With that, that's all I got for today, guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you're showing up for yourself. Let me know if you're getting anything out of these videos. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Maybe you know somebody that could get something else out of this. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.